How are you, my dear students, and also the SSC candidates in the next year? Today, I am going to start our very important topics in the topics. Basically, it's also the chapter 11. Chapter 11 is also the reproduction in organisms, and also I am today start and discuss the another topics is the plant reproduction. Here's the plant reproduction. Students, very carefully listen to the topics. Basically our today I have also selected these topics, basically different stages of the development of male gametophyte, and the another topic is the different stages of the development of female gametophyte. Actually, in the different stages of the development of male gametophyte and female gametophyte, it's also the very important topics for the next SSC exam. Here I also discuss the first topic is the microsorogenesis, and also the another topic is the male gamete. Here's the male gamete. What is the microsorogenesis? Here's the microsorogenesis. A pollen. Yes. A pollen is the first cell of a gametophyte. Pollen mother cell basically is also the diploid, and another name is the 2N. Produces 4 daughter pollen cells and by meiosis. Soon after becoming mature, harboring in the pollen sac, pollen starts to germinate. The nucleus of the pollen gets divided through mitotic division, and 2 cells, one large and another small, are formed. The large one is called the tube cell, and the small one is called the generative cell. The tube cell turns into the pollen tube, and the 2 male gametes are produced. Division of the generative cell takes place in the pollen or pollen tube. Students, the main target is the microsorogenesis. Basically, it also produces 2 male gametes. Here I just draw this structure. Basically, first structure is the pollen. Here I draw this structure is the pollen. In the pollen there are basically 2 types. First structure is the outer layer. In the outer layer it's also the another name is the enzyme. In the inner layer basically it's also the intine. Here it's also the pollen. And the another structure here is the tube nucleus and the generative nucleus. Here I just draw basically this structure is the generative nucleus, and the another structure is the tube nucleus. And the last structure is basically the form of the male gamete. Here's the male gamete, basically it's also from the generative nucleus. Here this produce basically male gamete. Here the 2 structure is the male gamete. And the another structure is the megasporogenesis. Here I just draw basically it's also the microsorogenesis and also the male gamete. And the another structure is the megasporogenesis, or the different stages of the development of female gametophyte. Students, please everyone see the books. Here's the megasporogenesis. Basically, megasporogenesis, it also produces the female gamete. Megasporogenesis, near the micropyle of the nucellus tissue. Here I just draw basically this structure is the nucellus tissue, and this structure is the micropyle. Here this structure and the another structure is the micropyle. Here the micropyle, the nucellus tissue being nourished in the nucellus of an ovule. A cell starts to become larger. Its protoplasm is dense and the nucellus is comparatively large. Here's the basically only one cell on the one structure. Basically this structure is large and the huge protoplasm. Here the cell divides into 4 haploid cells through mitotic division. Here the just draw basically there are the 4 structure of the 4 cells, and it's from the mitotic division. Here's the mitotic division. The every cell except the lowest one gets disintegrated. And again this structure basically these 3 cells is also the disintegrated, and the one is also the stay there. Here's the last structure is the growing gradually. And the growing gradually, this large cell matures into an embryo cell. Basically, this structure is the another name is the embryo cell. And here's also the one cell or the one nucleus. Here, the nucleus of the cell is a haploid. And this structure is basically not diploid, it is also the haploid. But the first cell it was also the haploid, not haploid, basically it's also the diploid or the 2N. Here the nucleus of the cell is haploid. The nucleus of the nucleus divides into produces two nucleus. These two nuclei take positions in two opposite poles. Here's first structure is the one cells and the another structure is the basically two cells. And the last stage basically there are basically 8 cells. Yes, these two nuclei takes positions in two opposition poles. Next, these two nuclei consecutively divides twice and result in 4 nuclei. In the next stage, basically is also the another stage is the two nuclei from the two poles come to the middle of the cell and get fused to cause the emergence of two haploid secondary nuclei. The secondary nuclei in the two poles turns into cells with some amount of cytoplasm. Basically, this structure from the 8 cells. Basically, 8 cells, there are 3 cells is the one pole and the another 3 cells is the another pole. And also the middle layer is also that there are 2 cells and also the secondary nucleus. Here's the another pole. There are basically 3 cells and is also the antipodal cells. And the another stage there are 3 cells, but in the middle cells is the another name is the egg or the female gamete. Here's the female gamete, basically only one gamete or this structure is the another name is the egg. And the another 2 cells is called the synergid cell. Here the next in the next stage, 2 nuclei from the 2 poles come to the middle of the cell and get fused to cause the emergence of 2 haploid secondary nuclei. The nuclei in the 2 poles turns into cells with amount of cytoplasm. Collectively, the combined structure of the 3 cells near the micropyle is called the egg apparatus. Yes, the corners is also the micropyle. This structure is the micropyle and there are basically 3 cells. Here's the 3 cells. In between the micropyle is called the egg apparatus. In between the cells, the one occupying the middle place in the ovum, which is a little larger. This is called the egg cell and the other 2 are called synergid cells. The cells in the opposite pole to the egg apparatus are called antipodal cells. This is how basically I just explained the main structure is the microspogenesis, where the last stage we get from the male gametes, and the another structure is the megasporogenesis, where the produces of the female gametes. Here the students, basically this structure is the very important topics for your the final exam. In here I just explained the first structure was the flowers. Here's the concept of reproduction in organisms and its significance. Basically, I just explained the plant reproduction. Here's the plant reproduction in the previous class. I just explained the reproductive organs. Here I just draw the flower. Here's the flower, basically different parts of the flower. Basically, there are 5 parts of the flower. And another structure today I just explained the very important topics, the different stages of the development of male gametes. Here I just draw this structure, basically pollen and also the reproduct or the produce from the male gametes. Here's the male gametes. Basically, there are two male gametes, and the another name is the microsporegenesis. And the last is the megasporogenesis, where we get the ovum or the ovum or the egg apparatus. Dear students, please everyone draw these two structures. Here the first is the microsporogenesis and the megasporogenesis. Today, that's all. Thank you.